Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If this is the very first time you've discovered my channel, yay, you're here. Finally, I've been waiting for you. My goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both sometimes watching a specific film. So the specific film I'm reviewing today is called T.I.M, and it's spelled T.I.M, because it stands for Technologically Integrated Manservant. Cool? Creepy? You get to decide. This futuristic thriller is now available on Tubi TV for free, but there's ads during the movie itself. I'm sure it'll go on streaming on other places eventually. The film is rated R, mostly for language and some violence with, well, I'll tell you more about that in a minute. The length is an hour and 41 minutes, and my overall movie review mom grade is, I think, a B minus, maybe a C plus, straddling that somewhere. And let me explain why. I'll give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out all of the things I do like and don't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, funny lines, and recommendations for other films that are sort of along the same lines. All right, so you ready to get started? In a nutshell, the story is about a prosthetics engineer named Abby, who moves into the countryside with her husband to work on the company called Integrate Robotics and their latest robot product, a humanoid artificial intelligence called T.I.M. So the film was directed and written by Spencer Brown with some writing help by Sarah Govitt. So I'm always super impressed when directors are also the writers, but that can also be a flaw sometimes if it's not done well. So let me give you some tips for parents in case your kids are interested. We see a married couple in bed trying to get pregnant. So there's some movement, sound effects, and skin, but it's not super, super graphic. There's talk of infidelity. We see a car crash that's pretty bad. We see some attempted murders, but mostly bloodless. And then there is some profanity and F-bombs. So the themes that are illustrated very well in the movie are capitalism, trust, marriage, deep fake, artificial intelligence at the heart, and how much do we trust this new technology? All right, so there were a lot of things I actually really liked about this film. First of all, the robot, T.I.M, T-I-M, is played by Eamon Farron, who does an excellent, believable, and scary job in his role as this robot. Other cast members also do a really great job. Georgina Campbell, who's the lead, the protagonist. Mark Rowley, gotta love his accent, super adorable. Amara Karen, Tom Bell, and Nathaniel Parker. So I love the idea of a robot doing everything for me. I think that would be awesome. I have several Alexa devices and Google Home Mini devices in various rooms of my house. And they used to be able to answer all kinds of questions and set up all kinds of automated programming, which is very cool and very convenient. But lately, instead of becoming sentient, it's as if they're all becoming dumber. Like I said, they used to be able to answer a bunch of questions, and now so many times their answer is, I don't know that. I'm like, you've answered it before. What the heck, man? Robot, since he's not a man, and of course there are people who say, well, the government's spying on you with those devices. And my answer is, yeah, probably, but they're probably spying on us with our cell phones, and everybody has that. But I know people who have specifically chosen not to have these devices, these voice assistants in their home because of that. And again, I have nothing to hide, and they are convenient, but lately I'm like, I don't know, you guys aren't, they're supposed to be learning as I interact, and they're just getting dumber and dumber. So what does that say about me? All right, back to the movie. The tension builds progressively with each scene, and I think it does that well. The AI house itself is pretty cool. We see more about this robot, Tim, and how he interacts with the people in the home rather than the house interacting. He controls the house. He'll tell the house to lock all the doors or open windows or whatever. So it's not like the house is talking to him. It's him, it's Tim. The film is definitely timely. With the launch of ChatGPT in November 2022, just a few months ago, artificial intelligence has been on everyone's mind. And how far will it go? I don't know. Already it has learned and progressed in leaps and bounds, which is exciting, but can also be a little frightening. So I'm actually a university professor, and already I have seen academic integrity be hit hard because of AI. It is fantastic for business to make you more efficient, but it is too much of a temptation for these students who just run over to websites like ChatGPT and say, write me a 3,000 word essay, about this topic and using in-text citations and references, and the essays that are produced are actually pretty decent. Not as great as what a human could do, though, I have to say. And anyway, the university is really struggling. All campuses, I've attended countless webinars with other universities scrambling, trying to figure out what the policy is going to be and how to handle this. And I even attended one webinar and they're like, oh, we can use this as a companion tool for the students. And I'm like, no, they're just using it to cheat. So we don't have all the answers, obviously. And so this movie just brings up more conversation. And I think it's an interesting one because, like the internet, I don't think it's going away unless somebody, blasts all the satellites out of the sky, which could happen. I'm just saying. Anyway, so because of those things, I really enjoyed the film. Now, there were some things that I didn't like or just thought could have been done differently or better. For example, the dialogue is pretty formulaic. I wouldn't say that the humans sound like the robots, but it's interesting because the robot starts to sound like the humans. And I actually thought that that was really clever and frightening. It's so annoying when the characters do dumb things or they just make bad decisions, like clearly don't do that thing. However, I also at the same time like that in a movie because it gets me to interact with the screen. I'm like, don't do that, stop, wait, run, right? And so I think that that's a good technique and a bad technique all at the same time. The very last fight scene was super frustrating to watch because there were several times where characters are just standing there, rather than running or kicking and fighting. I mean, there's a little bit of that, but most of the time, like a hand goes like this and they're all, rather than kicking and using your elbows and, stuff like that, they're just standing there. And I'm like, you could do something. Anyway, that's pretty typical for, I don't know if I would call this a horror, maybe just a thriller, I guess. And that's kind of common in those types of movies. Anyway, so whenever I watch movies, I always take notes. And specifically, I write down funny lines and interesting lines simply so I can share them with you so you can get a taste and feel for the dialogue and the quality of the writing and that kind of thing. So I have them all on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. I'll share a few of them here with you right now. One is spoken by Mark Rowley, his character's name is Paul. And like I said, he's got this cute accent. I'm going to say it's Irish. I could be wrong. Maybe it's Scottish. Americans are really bad at being able to identify that. But I'm actually getting ready to fly to Ireland soon. And so maybe I'll be able to have my ear become more educated. But anyway, Americans, by the way, are total suckers for accents, just so you know, in case you're a foreigner. We could listen to you all day long. All right. But anyway, this character, the husband, says when he first meets Tim, don't you find him rather freaky? I don't know if that was a good Irish accent. And then Abby, who works for this company that's producing these Tim robots, he's always saying, you know, you got to do this, hurry, you got to do that. And she's not feeling comfortable about putting something out into the market until it's been properly tested, right? And he's like, we got to beat the Chinese. And I just laughed because I know that's a thing and they feel the same way about us. Actually, I've done a lot of business in Chinese, and I don't know that they're in such a hurry. They just wait till we invent it and then they deconstruct it and then they make their own version cheaper, right? Anyway, so there are some interesting lines that I wrote down. For example, Tim is watching this romance movie with the husband and wife. And afterwards, he says to the wife, he says, what is love? And Abby says, I suppose it's just a feeling, really. It's when you want to spend all of your time with someone. And then, you know, he kind of presses her and she goes in and gives some more details. But you kind of literally see him thinking, which, you know, the robots, are they supposed to do it like that? And anyway, that's sort of the little seed that's planted in his robotic brain. And I don't want to give you any spoilers, but you could probably guess what's going to happen. Anyway, and then another line that he says is he compliments her. He's so enamored with her. And he says to her, it's rare to find such talent accompanied by such beauty. I'm like, oh, man, you got to memorize that line. That's a good one. And then another line that he says is, I know you better than you know yourself, because he knows all of this past history. And I'm not sure how I don't know if they explained that in the movie or if I missed it. I don't know if they download the history of a person, but somehow he knows all of these intimate details about people. And anyway, that's kind of interesting and frightening too. Anyway, let me give you 3 recommendations for some movies that I instantly thought of as I was watching this. The first one is the 2004 movie called I, Robot with Will Smith. It's a lot of fun, action, and it kind of follows the same, not the exact same story, but just the same problem with robots becoming sentient, right? And is it possible? I mean, for that matter, I guess you could watch any of the Terminator movies, right, where the robots became sentient. But anyway, my next recommendation is a 2023 movie. It came out this year. I reviewed it earlier this year. It's called Megan. And this married couple wants to have a daughter. And so they get this robot to be their daughter. And then things go awry, as you can imagine. And then another one that I thought was really interesting and sweet is a movie that I think flew under the radar. It came out in 2021. It's called Finch and stars Tom Hanks. And he interacts with this robot. And it's a very different tone. It's not, you know, the robots running amok and killing people or anything like that. It's this relationship that he builds with this robot. And it's very sweet. So check that one out if you're interested in a robot movie, but with a different vibe. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. When you get a minute, check down below the details on how you can become a Movie Review Mom member and what that actually means. And also run over to Instagram and you can follow me at Movie Review Mom, but also as Trina Boice, which is my author profile over there, where you can learn about when my books go for free on Amazon and my online courses and my speaking events and stuff like that. Anyway, have a fantastic day. I hope you enjoy this movie and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.